Hello, everyone, and welcome to the art exhibition and Meet the Artist for John Koehler. This is the Virginia Beach Public Library, and I'm your host, Sandy Hopkins, librarian with Programming and Outreach. And Robert Kennedy is here with us also as a host, and he's the volunteer art gallery coordinator for the Myra E. Oberndorf Central Library.
Thanks, Sandy, and welcome to all. We're glad you've joined us. We are pleased today to welcome artist John Koehler. A talented artist since childhood, John's work has crossed the spectrum of pen and ink, watercolor, advertising, graphic design, photo retouching, illustration, and digital painting. A graduate of Virginia Commonwealth's art program in 1980, John went on to graduate studies at George Washington University. After spending 12 years as an art director at various Washington, D.C. area ad agencies, John started his own graphic design firm, Koehler Studios, in 1994. After selling the firm in 2010, John established his own publishing company, Koehler Books. He also worked as director of Young Life Capernaum, a ministry for children with disabilities. In late 2018, John began creating digital art with his Apple iPad Pro, Apple Pencil, and Procreate software, resulting in more than 300 artworks by 2022. John's recent work involves abstracted layering as well as color shifts and effects, and features figures and endangered animals as his subjects.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. Yeah, there she is. There's my mom, mother of 6, and she was my early patron. She just, like a lot of moms, was so encouraging and apparently had a little bit of talent. Go ahead, Sandy. You can move past that. Okay. Look, I was the kid who was asked by all my teachers to help with their bulletin boards. They identified my talent and put me right to work. I did not take an art class until this was done in high school as a senior. I didn't take an art class until then, and the teacher just let me go. So I was doing pen and inks and watercolors. You can move forward. There's another one. Keep going. This is from college. We had to do various studies. This one, obviously, Caravaggio, a pencil drawing. Go ahead. Self-portrait. I think I was 21. Another piece. This was using airbrush and pen and ink. Go ahead. So yeah, the digital work started actually in 2010. That's when the iPad first came out, but I couldn't find a program that, included a digital pen. So I used my finger with a program called Brushes. Go ahead. This is my friend, Win. I look at this even today and kind of go, wow, finger painting, not bad. Go ahead. Another one, just kind of an expressive piece. There's one of our cats, etc. But you can see that it was a cool way to kind of get into doing various types of drawing. Another piece. And then later, the iPad Pro came out, 2018, and the program Procreate, which changed everything. Everybody's heard of everybody has heard of various digital programs, and Photoshop being the most common, and then the Apple digital pen. So those things changed everything, and I really could get into the work. Self-portraits, go ahead. This was a way for me to start expressing myself in the medium. And here's the cool thing for any artist out there that likes to draw or paint. Using the iPad with the Apple Pen gives you that same kind of tactile. You are working on a surface. You're not working on paper or canvas or anything like that. You're working on glass, but that's immediate tactile sort of feedback. It's really quite cool. Go ahead. couple more, sometimes getting a little bit more silly and expressive. And more. My wife does not like the one on the left. I think it's just cute as can be, don't you? This one, this one was on they used on the cover of a magazine. Like a lot of art, I was just kind of fooling around going, I wonder if, and I tried something really different, kind of using topographic approach. Go ahead. Portraits, then I started with myself, learned, the deal. Then I started working on people. I tended to be pretty rough or strong, with the applications. And I found out it didn't work so well with women. Go ahead, there may be a few more. Yeah, so you can see I got more expressive as I went on. That's my brother-in-law on the right. And it just didn't seem to work as well for women who do not want to be blotchy. Thank you. Dogs, of course, mostly these were my own dogs, as you'll see. This is one that we had, and taking photos as a basis, pulling those up in the program, and then painting over. Here we go, more of the same, creating patterns. By the way, just as a reminder to you artists, if you're, going to call me too technical on this stuff or faking or anything else, I don't think you would, but don't forget that some of the best Dutch painters back in the 1700s, they used photography, or specifically camera lucidas and that kind of thing. Go ahead. It's another piece after I did that one of me with the topographic approach. I did the same thing with dogs, and I was kind of dealing with patterns. I went through a phase. It's my grandson on the bottom, my dog on the top. Okay, so this is one of the things, and I think this is one of Robert's favorite areas, and I just like doing it. My background was as an illustrator, so I could make things look real. And then kind of doing unlike things, kind of McGree-like, or in this case, more dream-like. This was fun. This won an award. This was fun. Just more, more of the same. What would it look like? The photo of the model was, she was standing, and so just flipped her over and kind of what if. Ah, yes, this was won an award at a recent show here in Virginia Beach. We were supposed to use landmarks, etc. And when I did the photo shoot, I just asked her to do a pose like a surfer, and she did. That was a lot of work, by the way. That was probably 40 or 50 layers in that. If you think like an animation cells, the old style, it was a lot. More of the same, just dealing with models, creating environments that are not quite right. This is my book. I'm going to have this at the show coming up on October 4th. It goes through 2022, but I'll have some there that'll probably be given away. Yeah, I call this the breakthrough. This was actually January 4th. I mean, there was a date when I was fooling around with those layers, like you guys saw me do, like with the lady surfer. The difference was I started blending them. I started letting them go inside and out and creating different effects and changing the colorization, changing the filtration. There was, for every one, if they had 4 or 5, here we go, the one on the left had a lot more layers. The one on the right probably only, maybe 7, 8, or 9. But it was all about how to blend. Started doing it with endangered animals also, and got some pretty wild effects. I think the one on the left, the zebra, was in mocha for a little while. More of the same, local. The lion, of course, and the sea lions. The great thing about doing this system, this process, it's very surprising. It can be very surprising. Starting to use models more again, blending things in, like the woman on the right with red hair made of leaves. More of the same. It's my daughter on the left. Okay, my most recent stuff is with flowers. I just started working with them and then posting them on Facebook with 2 variations of the same things. I don't think I have those variations here, but you can see the wide range of effects that I could get. There they go. There's one coming up that really, when I did it, it felt like a medical image of the heart. Not yet. But I just love the abstractions. Yeah, there it is on the right, I think. I just like the abstractions of the various pieces based on reality. And then most recently, I kind of got involved with using AI. They're called art bots, and it's a big controversy. You can go ahead. The controversy is, I mean, the first thing that I did on the left is I took my portrait, which looks very much like that, and I said, add a Van Gogh effect, and it did. Took about 10 seconds, and it came back, and it was like, holy cow. Pretty amazing. What I didn't want to do was just write some stuff and ask the program to create art for me. A lot of people are doing that and they're saying, oh, look what I made. So what I did is I input my own self-portraits, and you can see that's one of the results on the right. Looks a lot like me, but it's different. This is a local man that I was hired to do a portrait or series of portraits of him. On the left was an original photograph, and you can see how, the AI program picked up, his likeness, but then went far outside. Same thing here. This is Quincy Chappelle, good friend, gallery owner, artist, and, original photo on the left. And I posted many versions of him onto the program so that I had a lot to chew on. Plus I did colorizations, etc. And then what you see on the right. This is what I did for him. It's up in his gallery. It's kind of a series of pieces that came straight out of the art bot based on my input. It's my wife, Patty. On the 4 corners, you can see original photos that I colorized of her, and the rest are generated by the AI program. So the question is this art? I think it is. People had a problem with photography back in the day, early 1900s, said it was not art. They came around. I think they will with this. It's just a question of how to use it. Yep, that's my girl. Go ahead. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope to see you at the opening.
Thanks, John. You really have beautiful creative art, and that was really interesting. And particularly following up actually on the AI. So you would start with an image, and then you would ask it to you would make a request of it. That's correct. And do you actually add anything to it, or just what it produces there?
My additive, Robert, is in the beginning. So
Okay.
I'm creating images to input into the AI program. And that was the thing that I had issue with, is that
Sure.
hey, look, I want to be involved,
Right.
and so that's what I did.
Mhm.
And then from my imagery, it would go and create. I did not give it any, indication, this particular program. I did
Right.
not tell it, to make it look like this or anything else. I
Sure.
just gave it input.
Okay. Very interesting. Yes, it's a whole new horizon in many different areas, scholarship and so forth. Do you want to start with an idea? Obviously, you're very creative minded and have all sorts of ideas for an effect. And does it tend to change a lot as you are creating the art?
It depends.
Hmm.
I would say more often than not, I would just sort of be surprised and kind of sketching and looking at different things. The instigator often, Robert, was doing photo shoots, of models and then
Sure.
taking photos of things outside. And oh my gosh, look at the pattern in my patio. Look at this over here. Oh my gosh, look at these leaves and the sky and the clouds, and kind of paying attention to the things that I sometimes walk by. And then so that starts with the input. And then I go, all right, what if I take that sky and put it with this patio and that and that and that? What can I do with it?
Okay.
So that often was the way that I did it. With portraits, I mean, I had to take photos of
Sure.
people.
Okay. Well, great. It's a great path of discovery and creativity. You talked about layering, and in one case, I think you mentioned 40 layers, and in a couple others, 7 to 9. Does that also vary, and does it change once you get into it, or?
Well, yeah, and it's a funny thing, Robert, because some people they won't always admit it, but if I tell them that I came up with a particular piece and they go, "Well, how long did it take you?" Or the question becomes, "What should I charge for this
Ah,
piece?" And they say, "Well, how long did it take you? It should be
ah.
based on the amount of time that it took." And I say, "No, it's taken me 65 years
Right.
to get to this point. But who cares if it
Right.
takes, I mean, go ask Andy Warhol when he did something, or Jackson Pollock,
Right.
and it took them 20 minutes. Well, many
Right.
took longer. So, the most recent ones, like the flowers, they
Hmm.
were fairly quick
Hmm.
because it was just the important part was picking out the images I wanted to put together
Right.
and then going through and making those decisions because I knew the program, I knew the craft. It's like an oil painter, you got to know how to use and move the paint and how to work the colors and the canvas and the brushes. I knew the program at that point. I have mastered it. So quite quickly, the longest that I ever worked on a piece was probably a couple days. Not that long in the art world, but I don't care. This is my art world.
Right. Yeah. And I guess my question really wasn't so much time. I hadn't thought of that. I was just adding particular layers for an image. But in any event, if someone was wanting to create digital art to learn the craft, what would you advise them? What would be the best way to learn it? And, what equipment and so forth?
That's a good question. I think probably start with YouTube videos, that kind of thing. Figure out what they want to do, how they want to do it. They can certainly create art on a desktop or laptop computer with Photoshop and other programs. If they want to do what I did, which, I mentioned in my talk, the beauty is I'm using, a device directly on the surface of the art piece. And that is huge because when you're using a mouse or Wacom tablet, it's down here and you're looking at the piece up here. So there's a disconnect. I would also suggest that they talk to digital artists, get as much advice as they can. Maybe take some, if there's any classes available, I may be doing one or two here later on
Oh,
this year,
great.
maybe.
Hey.
We'll see at the art center.
Oh,
Um,
good.
so I would say, learn your craft.
Okay. Well, good. That was very good advice. So you may be, so I guess we'll all hope you will be teaching. This will be at the Art Center in Virginia Beach, correct?
Yes, that's a possibility. There's
Okay.
three or four digital artists who show there.
Okay.
I'm one of them. There's some really good ones. And they're all around. So
And then you also have your own art gallery or art studio, is that correct?
yes, Kohler Artworks. It's
Hmm.
over on Shore Drive. Um, I haven't been doing much artwork lately, Robert, after I've been
Sure.
dealing with this medical issue. It
Sure.
reminded me, of the connection to our spirit.
Right.
If we're not feeling well,
Right.
it's just not coming out. I have no
Sure.
desire, but I'm getting back there.
Well, good. Well, very good. And well, we know you're going to have an excellent show with us. And
Look
are there
forward to it.
any techniques or subject matter that you would like to explore in the future that you perhaps haven't? Or
I don't know. I mean, I
uh
tried. My wife helped me to get the canvas and the paints and and the setup and the easels and everything else. And I did one piece and was sort of, well, that's kind of cool. And then
Sure.
I did another one and it was horrible. I hated it.
Uh,
Um, that's me. That's my fault. I don't know if I'm talking about a jump, you know, to other to other things. But hold on, it's possible. I'm open, man. Who knows?
okay. Well, great. Very good. Well, again, this is going to be a great show, and we certainly thank you very much for being with us. It was a fascinating show. We hope all of you watching and listening will stop by John's reception, as you can see there, Wednesday, October 4th at the Myra E. Orbendorf Central Library, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Plenty of free parking. It's very centrally located. And hopefully you'll not only go there, but come back. His art will be on the wall all the month of October. So thanks again, John, and thanks to everyone for joining us. We'll be back next month with another Meet the Artist.
Thanks, Robert, Sandy.